Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Rod Pedersen Show. Tuesday morning, February the 18th. Time for a sports update. Andrew Mangiapane was front and center after the most productive game of his NHL career helped earn a comeback win for the Flames. Mangiapane scored his first career hat trick and assisted on the go-ahead goal as Calgary used 5 third-period goals for a 6-4 come-from-behind win over the visiting Anaheim Ducks. I see Connor, the intern, our first intern, scored a hattie for the Pilot Butte Storm on the weekend, eh?
Yeah, he did.
Good for you, Connor. Proud of you. Vancouver Canucks have added a scoring winger to their lineup. Vancouver has acquired forward Tyler Toffoli from the LA Kings in exchange for forward Tim Schaller, prospect Tyler Madden, a 2020 second-round pick, and a conditional fourth-round selection in 2022. The Canucks sit third in the division. Ratings for the NBA All-Star Game were up 8% over last year, with an average of 7.3 million viewers watching Sunday night's broadcast on TNT. About 8 million viewers were tuned in for the end of the game where LeBron James' team defeated the Greek Freaks 157-155 in the first target score format in All-Star history. I'm going to have to learn how to say the Greek Freaks' name. Do you know how to say it?
No, I'm not very good at it. Alan will.
How do you say it, Alan? Antetokounmpo? Giannis Antetokounmpo? I'll stick with the Greek Freak.
The Greek Freak is good.
Cleveland Cavaliers head coach John Beelan has discussed with team officials the possibility of him stepping down before the end of the season. The team is 14-40 amid reports the players have not been pleased with his coaching style, calling it simplistic with too much emphasis on fundamentals. Ooh boy. Mm-hmm. As Fred Flintstone would say. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room, Regina's newest entertainment destination. I did not have a Scotties update in there. Blame the Canadian press because they didn't have it in theirs. What can you give me for a Scotties update?
I can tell you, if I look at the TV, Canada's up on Alberta 5-4 in the 7th.
Is that what you were looking at?
We have it on here now. Saskatchewan's not playing this morning, but they won last night, and they're now 3-1. Rachel Holman.
Yes.
Not in a playoff spot right now. She sits one spot looking on the outside looking in.
But they got a long ways to go.
Long ways to go. So a little bit more time. Let's see. Northern Ontario's playing. She's not playing right now. She'll play later on this afternoon.
Here's the thing, and I get this. I have a subscription to the Canadian press, so they give all the sports headlines across the country. Here's theirs from this latest sports update, Darren. Manitoba's Carrie Einerson is undefeated heading into the 4th day at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts in Moose Jaw. Einerson will try and improve to 5-0 this afternoon when she faces New Brunswick's Andrea Crawford. And I get it, but that doesn't tell me anything about Team Canada. It doesn't tell me anything about Saskatchewan or Rachel Holman.
I made a mistake.
You did?
Yeah. It was Canada and Chelsea Carey, who's 2-2 in Pool A, sitting on the outside looking in. So the 4 teams in the playoffs in Pool A: Manitoba, Saskatchewan. Manitoba's 4-0, and then Saskatchewan, Northern Ontario, Alberta, all 3-1. In Pool B, our friend Rachel Holman is in first, tied for first at 3-1 with Nova Scotia. Wild card.
So she is in a good spot.
She is. Yeah, and Jennifer Jones, the wild card at 3-1. BC and Northwest Territories are both 2-2. And so is PEI. So still some time to figure things out. They go to a championship pool. Top 4 in each pool move to the championships, in a couple of days.
I got guys who will remain nameless going to Mosaic Place in Moose Jaw, sending me photos of Rachel Holman. I'm like, come on, guys. Go for the curling. Mind you, I often say, you buy your tickets, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Go for whatever gets you to buy a ticket.
Yeah, so that's fair. But she's pretty popular. I ran into Warren Woods at the Pats game yesterday and asked him if he was going to the Scotties because he's Mr. Curling. He said he was there on the weekend, but he's not going back. Too busy.
Okay.
So I might end up there this week. We'll see. So this sounds like somebody's whispering. Is it in just my ear? No?
I don't know.
I got voices in my head again. To this XFL thing, let's get real. Enough Mickey Mousing. I'll just say the Prairie Mobile text line's open too if anything tickles your fancy. 306-840-8777. That's 306-840-8777. Derek Dennis going to the XFL. I spoke to him yesterday. You saw the hullabaloo over the weekend that he hadn't had one CFL contract offer in free agency. We're talking about a former CFL Offensive Lineman of the Year not that long ago. Mm-hmm. Perennial All-Star Derek Dennis can't get an offer from anybody in the CFL. I saw the notion that he's been shunned because of his pro-union stance and criticism of the CFL. I'd like to believe that's not the case. What do you think?
Yeah, it's really hard to believe. He is a personality, right? I mean, he's a personality online on social media. His personality with the hair and, the green hair in Saskatchewan, the red hair in Calgary. I love that stuff. I think he's great for the game. But I think, and again, I don't want to speak for teams, but I just think that they're scared of that a little bit. I think, from a team standpoint, from an ownership standpoint, from a business standpoint, you want quiet players who don't ruffle any feathers, who don't say too much, who aren't going to be in the media, who aren't going to make any noise. You want to control all of the messaging. I think it's short-sighted. I don't think it's positive. I don't think it's good for the game. I think you need players who have personality, but I think you're just a little scared of it. And it's a little bit of the Duron Carter thing too. Now, that goes a little bit deeper because there might be locker room things. There's off-field stuff with Duron potentially, but you're scared of that personality because you just don't know. You don't know what he's going to say next. You don't know where he's going to go. You don't know what he's going to put on Twitter. And so teams, I think, are a little bit afraid of that. But I think that's good for business. It's good for the teams. How many offensive linemen would be recognizable walking down the street that kids would want their autograph? Derek Dennis is one of those guys, right? Shows up to training camp with the green hair. He's bouncing off the trampoline mats and, in the end zone there. And we're getting videos and pictures and doing interviews with him. And the fans want his autograph. Most offensive linemen, you couldn't tell them from, a guy working in the mine or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can't tell them any difference. So I think that's part of it. I do. But it's going to, good for him. He's going to get another offseason, a traditional CFL offseason. Now he's going to be working, making a paycheck in the XFL. I just hope his body's going to be able to hold up so that he can come back to the CFL.
I have a bit of a tough time believing that, but if you say so, then I'll go along with it. I've never understood that way of thinking. If a guy's good enough, you'd think he could help somebody.
Oh yeah.
You're scared of his Twitter feed? And I'm not saying you're wrong.
No,
I just think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, I did speak to him quite a bit yesterday. We mentioned that we broke the story. He's very excited to go to the XFL. And John Schmeizer's watching in Kansas City this morning. He says, I like the rules. Where did it go? Oh, I like the rules. Not gimmicky, but it looks like the level of play dropped off. That from John. And I didn't watch one snap this weekend. Obviously, I was busy. Nothing. What I've heard was that the level of play dropped off, and that's from everybody, from fans and football guys, scouts and coaches. But what I did hear, as much as the games were generally decent in week one, the offensive line play was the worst. That is the Achilles heel of the XFL. Mm-hmm. So you can see where a guy like Derek Dennis would have an opportunity down there.
Oh, yeah.
He's been in the NFL. The guy can play.
Yeah.
I guess because he's too vociferous on his Twitter feed, he can't play pro football anymore in Canada. Are you kidding me? Sorry, this is going to be a theme for the rest of the day. I'm starting to get upset.
Yeah.
The guy can play. He's excited to have an opportunity.
Yeah.
You actually believe this?
And he's gonna have an opportunity to show that. And if he can be one of the better offensive linemen in the XFL, there will be a team that can use him for sure. Once their season's over, there'll be a team in Canada in the Canadian Football League that will want him back, and he'll fit in nicely. And he's a star, right? He's a star in the Canadian Football League. He's very good. He was a star, but for whatever reason, I just don't know. That's the only reason I can come up with why he hasn't had a contract offer or why he hasn't been signed. Because I don't know that it has to do with his play on the field, because he's always proven that he can play. Now, there has been some talk about that great offensive line scheme in Calgary. When you get guys out of that scheme, they just don't seem to perform as well in other markets and other teams. But I don't know. He's played really well. He's been an all-star. He's been an offensive lineman of the year. You'd think that would warrant another opportunity.
Well, it will when teams get desperate enough.
Yeah.
But Derek wasn't really interested in sitting and waiting. He literally has a family to feed.
Yeah.
Our poll question, by the way, for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is the XFL a threat to the CFL? Don't look at the screen, Darren. Just guess what you think the split is.
No. I bet you it's about 68% say no.
Wow, you're good. 73% say no.
Wow.
Wiki. I think it is a serious threat to the CFL.
Yeah, I do.
Now, having said that, I remember interviewing Jeremy O'Day a couple years ago when the Alliance of American Football was coming in, and I asked him, do you see it as a threat? And he literally said, let's just pump the brakes here and wait to see them get through a season. And what happened? Mm-hmm. They didn't even get through a season. This is different. You got players asking to get out of their contracts in Canada to go sign in the XFL. And it seems like they just want to play. SJ Green doesn't need the money. He just wants to play. Remember the whole American thing? It's blowing up. It's on national television. It's on ESPN and Fox, not on some hard-to-get network somewhere that your friends and family are never going to see you. And their ratings, not that they care about playing for a lot of people on TV, but it doesn't hurt. 4 million viewers in America for the XFL? Pretty damn good. You know what the CFL gets in America? 250,000.
Yeah. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. That's where you're from. That's where your friends and family are. It comes down to, where do you want to play and what do you want to be known for? Yeah, you're playing on ESPN. Just simply, this is how people think. And this is some of the value that comes out of this. Seriously. And there's been talk about, the quarterbacks get paid 10 times what any other player makes to ensure that you have good quarterbacks.
And they should.
And they should. You want to make sure you have good quarterbacks. So that means if a quarterback's making $500,000 a year, you've got nobody else making more than 50. It's not a lot of money. And especially when you got guys like Derek Dennis who are used to making, 6-figure contracts, it's going to be a drop-off. But literally, for these guys to go down there into the XFL, play, do the little sideline interviews that happen throughout the games, and get that screen grab.
Build their brands.
Right? The screen grab
Build their brands.
From TV with them, an interview with the ESPN mic flag. They'll do it just for that, to put that on their Instagram profile picture that they were on ESPN playing football on national television.
Sounds crazy, but it's true.
But it's true.
JR in Cranbrook, BC is watching. He says the Dragons had 29,000 plus fans in Seattle. He's right. Football is decent. They're starved for football in America, and they're going to watch. I'm a little distracted here. Kim Murphy has tweeted the show. He will be a Hall of Fame CFL referee. He announced on the weekend his retirement from the CFL. Kim Murphy writes in, "Good morning, Rod. I was just sent the Monday Morning Goalie article from a friend. I must say your comments towards and recognizing me are much appreciated. Thank you. Referees are not just used to accolades, just a steady hum of boos." The comment that I made about one Kim Murphy in my Monday Morning Goalie column, it's up right now at rodpeterson.com, was that this guy never became part of the show. He's in the CFL for 26 seasons. I don't ever remember Kim Murphy and a coach rah, 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 at each other on the sidelines. Not one time.
Yeah.
I can name some refs that have. Not Kim Murphy.
No.
Should we name those refs?
We should out them on television.
The hardcore CFL fans will know.
They know
who they are.
Yeah.
Kim Murphy wasn't one of them.
No.
And that was, I guess, the thing that Kim appreciated was that I recognized that and pointed it out. The guy deserves some kudos here. 486 games, 9 Grey Cups. Kim Murphy riding off into the sunset. Whoops.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kim, for the thank you. How are we doing for time? Is Lou loaded up? Clark, what's the word? Yeah, we're going to go to a break here. This is exactly what I was hoping this show would be.
Yeah.
Us sitting around, shooting the fat, talking sports, having coffee, morning discussion. I'm glad everybody's tuned in. Numbers are strong today, too. Peter Labardius after the break. It's the Rod Pedersen Show on Facebook Live and listen live at rodpeterson.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpeterson.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.